Hi, welcome to our Governance.Business session on the dashboard functionality. In this session, we will show you how to create a dashboard page and add portlets to visualize different type of information in different layouts. So in tabular layouts, in graphical layouts, and so on. So let's get started. When you enter in Governance.Business, you are shown a certain set of dashboards depending on the way that you have configured your profile, because you can define what is your landing page once you enter inside Governance.Business, but also it depends on the way on the different dashboards, okay, that the administrator has already configured for you. So in Governance.Business, there are two types of dashboards, of dashboard pages. So the published pages, which are pages that the administrator will publish in your profile, which have a certain structure and a certain amount of portlets and visualizations on the data, with being those visualizations on tables, on graphical formats, timelines, bubble charts, and so on. And also we have the concept of a personal page, which is basically a page that you can create by yourself. And in this case, you can add any type of visualization on that page, depending, of course, on the accesses that you have over the data and on the configuration. So starting out, when you see how do you create really a page in Governance.Business. So you can create a page by navigating into a current dashboard page. And from this dashboard page, you can either create a new page from a template. So use a pre-existing template that you have access to and create it based on that template, which basically brings all the portlets and views to visualize certain information in a certain way. Copy the current page, which basically copies the full structure with all of these portlets and visualizations set in this way, or create an empty page, which will basically give you the right to add any type of portlet, any type of visualization, okay, on the page. So we will use this option because essentially it's going to show you exactly how to create something from scratch and also the kind of information that you'll have available on the page. So just hitting the button, then you have to give a name to that page. So we call it a dashboard demo. Okay, and then you have to select the number of columns that you would like to use to render data. Okay, so what are these type of columns? So essentially it's basically the screen can be divided in different columns, and then you can rearrange the portlets to fit within those columns. So you can render on the same line different portlets showing different information. Okay, so we will start with 3 columns only on the dashboard. Then hitting save. So from now we can start adding some portlets that will be fitting on the layout. So the portlets are basically visualizations on the information, and of course depend on the access that you have on that content. So you can see the list of all the portlets that you have access to by selecting this in the list, and then you have the full list of portlets that will render some kind of information around a certain module. So we will basically select portlets around projects. So we will basically filter the portlets on projects. We will select to render information on project details and also financials. Okay, and we just have to finalize and add that to our dashboard. So what we can do here is we can already start rearranging the dashboard, because we would like to show project details basically in 2 ways. So we would like to show it in a pie chart with the projects by status account on the projects, and also by responsible unit, okay, which we want to show by responsible unit the number, the planned cost for each of the projects. And then we will also like to show the full financials of all the projects, okay, and the timeline. So let's do all of these configurations. So let's start by rearranging the layout on this portlet. So we will render that in one column, okay? And to tell you the truth, let's also change the number of columns, because in the end we want to show that we want only to show two portlets in this line. So let's then start creating the structure. Let's also create then a new portlet in the end that will give us the right to give us a visualization on timelines. So right now we are set to, in terms of structure. So we have the portlets in order to render the information. Now let's configure each of the visualizations. So let's start by this one, which we will say that are projects by status. This will basically show you the filter in the portlet when we are visualizing the data, if we want to show the filter that we are applying or not, depending on the filters that we apply. So let's take this information out, okay? Then on the configuration, we can select what type of visualization we would like to have. So we can basically select tabular format, timeline, pie chart, column, bar, so different formats depending of course on the portlet that you select, because there are certain portlets that will only be able to show certain types of visualizations. So in this case we will select a pie chart, and once you select the type of portlet, then the layout or what the information that you can choose will change. So we will basically select what type of categorization we would like to apply. Like we said, we want the status, and here on the data points, okay, we want the count. Here you can apply the different filters on the information, okay, depending on the portlet. Then you can have more or less filters, okay, to apply to it. And also eventually you can change the layout, okay, of the graph itself, okay. So let's go here to configuration, hit save, and right now we have that portlet configured. So let's configure the other one quite quickly. So projects, depending on the type of chart, you can of course select multiple data points. So let's only select planned cost and actual cost on this one. Then the financials. Basically, we want to show project financials, so we won't change the title right now. We will select then a configuration on column combination, where we can have basically a multi-series portlet, which basically has different categorizations that we apply to it. Or we can, for example, select a category, let's say period, and then select multiple data points which can be shown in multiple ways. So let's select the plan cost and plan benefit that we want in a column visualization, and then let's select, for example, the totals applied to each of these data points, okay, which are going to show it in a line visualization. Also, we will have to configure the filters, so we will have to select the filters. For example, we want to show this information in a monthly visualization, and eventually apply some other filters if we want the periods to be shown, okay. But let's apply only a period filter, which we are going to select last year and this year in terms of data, okay. And then the last one that we would like to configure is the timelines. So showing timelines just to give you an overview on the different visualization. So project timeline. In this case, we will then select a timeline, and here what we will select is what we want to show within the timeline. So let's say that we want to show the name of the project, for example, and also we want to show the planned cost for each of the projects that we are showing. So then we have 4 portlets that we want to render that we have configured. So let's now see how this dashboard demo looks like. Then we see our projects by status. We see then the planned cost and truthfully actual cost, because we have configured that by each of the bars, by each of the responsible units. Okay. We also see the aggregation of the project financials, where we can see planned cost, planned benefit, and then the totals for each of those values. And last one is the timelines for each of the projects, where we can see the timeline of the project and also the completion of the work plan and so on that is associated, and also the planned cost as the column that we have chosen. So we can see all of that information in a few clicks, have a configured dashboard page with nice data. So dashboard pages also allow you to drill down into the different information. So in this case, for example, I can, based on this pie chart, okay, I can just drill down on executing and controlling and have access to the list of projects that are currently in that status and seeing all the information related to that status in particular. This can be applied to any of the graphical views that we provide in this case. So this planned cost also has that possibility, and also the project financials also has that possibility, and also the timeline has the possibility to go to the project itself.